All right, New Year's resolutions. This is the main topic of today's training that I want to go over, and more so not how to set them, but how we can actually maintain them and using some strategies so we're not a part of the super ambitious, super lofty New Year's resolutions and then, fall off the wagon, kind of, derail them, whether it's 1 week, 2 week, month, 2 month. And we want to set goals that we can actually hit at the end of 2022. And we can look back at our year and say, I set my goals, I set my resolutions, and yep, I did those. So let's get into it. First off, I think what important thing to go over is why do people fail the resolutions in the first place? It's a goal, set it, why don't you hit it? I firmly believe that's because they're way too lofty. And this isn't just New Year's resolutions. This is goals across the board. When you set an end goal that is just intensely high and intensely lofty, yes, you should have big goals, you should have big ambitions, but you don't have a strategic plan to get there, you're going to fall off. Like if you're an entrepreneur and you just say, I'm going to make a $1 billion business and you have no game plan on how to get there, you might make it 2 weeks. You're going to be like trying, all these different tactics, all these different strategies, going from 0 to 100, and it's not sustainable. That's why you're going to fall off. You're not going to get there. You're not going to make the progress that you want to. It's the same thing with New Year's resolutions, specifically health and fitness oriented ones. The reason people fall off so much is because they're going from, never going to the gym, they haven't been to the gym in 6 months, years, have never been to a gym. And then all of a sudden it's, I want to lose 50 pounds. I want to gain muscle. I want to, whatever it is. And then they, do like 3 little Google and YouTube searches and be like, okay, I'm going to go to the gym 5, 6 times a week, do this. That's going from 0 to 100. That's going from never going to the gym to being a regular at a gym. And like, what's your plan to get there? If you don't have one, you're going to fall off. So all that being said, and this is in context of basically someone who's never been to a gym and is looking at just getting started in fitness, these are 3 ways I would start if I were in their shoes. And later on, I'll get into, some steps to make if you're more advanced and looking to really up your, your strength training or your workout or your physique regimen. So again, this is all coming from the stance of someone who is a beginner, who's never been to a gym and is just starting with goals to become healthier and more fit in 2022. Step 1, just start moving. Just start walking. Our bodies are meant to move, and well, there's a reason you see, even top level bodybuilders, top level CrossFit athletes, Olympians, power lifters, all these people, they walk. Why? Our bodies are meant to move. This can be lifting weights, this can be running, this can be swimming, this can be biking, hiking, whatever your jam is, our bodies are meant to move. And the baseline of movement for humans is walking 8 to 10,000 steps a day. That's kind of like the baseline for, all right, you're mobile, you're not sedentary, you're moving. So, I've gone over this before in a couple other trainings, a couple of recent posts, but most of our calories are not burned during our, intensive training. If you're in the gym weightlifting for an hour, that hour does not burn most of your calories. Yes, it is the effect or the thermic effect of that, that exercise post training. But for the most part, NEAT, not activity or not exercise activity thermogenesis, is what burns a lot of our calories, aka movement, walking. That's where your bread and butter is going to be. Also, walking is the only form of movement that actually like increases your NEAT without putting stress on your body. It's a recovery skill, recovery strategy, while lowering stress and lowering cortisol on your body. So just moving is going to be a great start to any beginner. And also it's going to be something that you carry through at every single phase. I mean, even, me, I've been strength training for 6 years at this point. I still walk every single day. I started my fitness journey in high school. I still walk today every single day. In fact, it's something that I emphasize. It's one of the main proponents of my program with my coach is that I walk at least 10,000 steps every single day. That's why you see bodybuilders do it. That's why you see, CrossFit athletes do it. That's why you see elite athletes in every single market or every single sport, every single profession. They're walking, they're moving. So just start moving. It's just walking. It's easy. Anyone can walk. Step number 2, is getting 80% of your calories from real foods. Now, what do I mean by this? So we have real foods. We have foods that were once living, animals, produce, stuff like that. It either grew from the ground or it had eyes and a heartbeat. Living food. So with our, you hear the 80-20 rule a lot with calories and with, with eating how you balance and moderation, stuff like that. 80-20 rule. What that means is 100% of your calories, you want at least 80% of those calories coming from real, unprocessed, whole foods. Meat, fruit, vegetables, starches, stuff that grows, right? You don't want 80% of your calories. You don't want the bulk of your calories coming from processed, unnatural foods. And this is for two reasons. For one, real foods are not going to cause inflammatory effects on your system. Now we can, I can do a whole nother training on the quality of food and the quality of real foods and how some real foods really aren't that real. But for the most part, if we eat real whole foods, we're going to cause a much lesser inflammatory effect on our body. That's going to result in great progress for our gut health, great progress for our hormone health, great progress for our recovery. We're just going to feel better overall. It's going to be cleaner sources of energy. And again, that's such a huge base for every great nutritional plant is whole foods, eating protein. That's the second thing. Eating protein at every single meal. Every single client that I have, our first step is to eat more protein. It's eating real foods, eating more protein. There's a reason for that. No one does it. Hardly anybody eats at least a gram per pound of body weight of protein. So eating protein at every single meal and eating 80% of your foods eating 80% of your calories from whole food sources are, for one, going to make you a lot healthier. Odds are it's going to decrease your caloric intake, because have you ever tried to eat 3,000 to 4,000 calories on, chicken, potatoes, and broccoli? It's not easy. Go for it. Odds are you won't be able to do it. But if you go, 3,000 to 4,000 calories of McDonald's, Doritos, and ice cream, now don't get me wrong, those foods are great, but eat 3,000 to 4,000 calories of that stuff and compared to 3,000 to 4,000 calories of, unprocessed, real, natural foods, whole food sources, can be a big difference. You're gonna need a lot less food volume of kind of, the processed foods, the unreal foods, the highly processed foods, rather than the real foods. So that's tip number 2. Make sure you're getting 80% of your calories from whole food sources, so you still have 20% of, whether it's chips, cookies, ice cream, all the good stuff that everyone loves. So you still have some of that in your diet, so there's nice and balanced and sustainable. But the majority of your calories are coming from good, unprocessed, whole food sources. And step 3 is sleep. Now, this seems like a really easy thing, and it is. You just got to sleep. Sleeping 7 to 9 hours a night, and it's honestly probably one of the things most people don't do. Most people do not consistently get 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Maybe they get, it's not an average. You can't average out your sleep throughout the week. So if you get 5 Monday through Thursday, and then 10 Friday through Sunday, that doesn't count. Your body wants a regulated circadian rhythm. Your body wants to go at a consistent bedtime and a consistent wake-up time. For one, that'll help regulate your cortisol and melatonin balances throughout the day. It'll help regulate your energy. It'll help regulate your hormone production. And overall, you're just going to feel better throughout the week. You're not going to feel groggy on the weekends when you get a ton of sleep. You're not going to feel depleted during the week when you get little sleep. It's not like calories. Calories you can kind of even out at the end of the week. With sleep, it doesn't work like that. If you have super low sleep, Monday through Thursday, you're going to have really elevated cortisol levels. You're going to have really poor recovery. Your overall hormone health is not going to be good. You're going to have bad energy. And if you just cram in sleep Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you're not having okay hormone levels and okay recovery less than 50% of the week. That builds up, and over time, takes 6 months. If you had less than optimal recovery for over half the time for 6 months, that's not good. So just sleep, getting 7 to 9 hours a night, again, regular bedtime, regular wake up time, regulating your circadian rhythm. It's going to do great for your hormones. You're going to have, I talked about it before. We want our cortisol and melatonin levels. So melatonin makes us sleep, cortisol, stress hormone, makes us awake, fight or flight, adrenaline, right? That's cortisol. We want our cortisol level to kind of go like this throughout the day. So when we wake up, we want our cortisol as high. That makes sense, right? We wake up, we're starting the day, we got to get up, get energy going, and move. We want cortisol high. When we're going to bed, we want cortisol low, we want melatonin high. That means we can go to sleep, right? Getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep regularly is going to help this. It's also going to help with our recovery. Most of our anabolic processes are recovering and building up tissue and recovering from our training stresses throughout the day and just regular life stresses. Most of that comes when we're sleeping. Sleeping is probably the only 100% non-stressed point throughout our day. We're either dealing with training stresses or life stresses throughout the rest of the day. So when we sleep, we're actually not getting any of that. So that's our best recovery state throughout the day. And if you mess that up, and if you cut that short, you're hurting your recovery, you're hindering recovery. And remember, we need to be recovered to create a productive stress in our training, right? And that's what training is for. It's creating an overload stress so we can adapt to that stress and grow bigger, stronger, faster, right? So if we are not recovered, if we don't get enough sleep, then we're not going to be able to make that happen. So sleeping 7 to 9 hours every single night is a phenomenal start to just get into health and fitness, to get started. And again, it's a foundational base layer. Getting enough sleep, again, is a hard point with my coach and I that we work on. It's a hard point with my clients and I that I work on with them, that I harp with them. Getting enough sleep is never going away, and that's for a reason. It's one of the most important factors you can do with your health and fitness. So if you're newbie, if you're a gym beginner, if you haven't been to a gym in a long time, those are 3 really easy things that you can start with that aren't that bad. You're just walking, you're eating real foods, and you're sleeping. Walk, eat, sleep. Who can't do that? You're not going to fall off the wagon doing that. Just stay consistent with it, and you're going to progress. And you're going to create a really great foundational base layer for your health and fitness and nutrition. Now, what happens when you master that? Say you're at the end of January, like, all right, Scott, bam. I've been, sleeping 7 to 9 hours a night. I got my sleep routine dialed. I'm going to bed and waking up at the same time every single day. I'm walking, I'm even at 11,000 steps, and I'm eating clean. I'm getting whole foods. We got a balanced diet. I'm eating protein every single meal. Where do I go from here? Okay, now for this kind of intermediate stage, stepping out of this beginner stage, if you want to get back into the gym, go to the gym 3 days a week. If you haven't been to the gym in a long time, you see a lot of kind of like hypertrophy statements, 10 to 20 working sets per muscle to actually grow. If you're a beginner, you can probably get away with 5 to 10. So just go to the gym 3 days a week. Just start lifting, start putting some load on your body, start squatting, start deadlifting, start pressing. There's a lot of simple programs online. Find something that you like and just start slow and start easy. Don't try to go 5 to 6 days a week, because odds are you're going to fall off. It's going to be too much. That's going to be too big of a bite. If you were in that beginning stage, you can make a lot of great progress just going to the gym 3-4 times a week and hitting 3 to 5 sets per body part throughout the week. And just keep doing that. Keep walking, keep sleeping, keep eating real foods, and you're going to start to see some really good progress. Now I'd be like, okay, Scott, I've been lifting for years now. I'm trying 3 to 4 days a week. I worked on my sleep's dialed in. I worked on my nutrition. My nutrition's getting better. I'm walking now. What do I do next? Okay, pick one thing. If you are a more intermediate lifter and you're looking to get more advanced, pick one thing. Whether it's elevating your gym routine, whether it's going from 3 to 4 days a week to 5 to 6 and hitting that 10 to 20 set per muscle group per week, but something like that. Focus on the gym, get more efficient, more effective training, and really hammer that home. Focus on that and don't change anything else. Maybe it's okay. Be I can eat better. Okay, so you're getting you're following the 80-20 rule. You're getting 80% of your calories from whole food sources. You have some balance, so it's sustainable. You're eating food you like. You're used to it. You're getting protein every meal. Awesome. Maybe you start to work on macros. Maybe you find a macro coach. You find a nutrition coach, and you start to hone in on that, focus on that. Be like, okay, I'm really going to dial in my nutrition, everything else. You just focus on nutrition. Awesome. Do that. Maybe it's recovery. Be like, okay, my nutrition's good, my gym routine's good. I need to get better recovery, better sleep. Okay, awesome. You're getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night, but it's not the best sleep it could be. Maybe you're working on a wake up routine and a bedtime routine. It's getting a more consistent bedtime and wake up time. It's, in the morning, it's, you get up and you do some breathing exercises and some meditation and some stretching and mobility to get you ready, primed and ready for the day. Or it's, wake up, you drink water, stretch, and you move, ready for the day. Or if it's at night and maybe it's, journal, meditation, bed. So you're starting to wind yourself down, and therefore you're creating a much more efficient sleep and recovery routine. And this will pay dividends in your training, in your recovery, and throughout your week, in your day-to-day process. So this is the approach that I would follow. Don't set, 3 huge goals and attack them all at once. When we're talking about health and fitness nutrition, you can make really great progress by just getting small victories every single day. So if you're completely new, just walking, eating real foods, eating protein, and sleeping enough, that's a great start. It's going to create your base layer and build your base and create a great foundation for when you take to the next level. And then once you're ready to take it to the next level, just focus on one thing. Maybe it's getting a more advanced routine in the gym. Maybe it's, walking more. Maybe it's, really working on your macros and your routine and your nutrition. Goodness gracious. And it's really working on your macros and your calories and dialing that in. Pick what your poison is. Don't swing for the fences. Just small bats. Keep making a little bit of progress. And by the end, what you're going to do is you're going to keep getting more consistent. You keep mastering one thing. So you're going to keep building layer on top of layer on top of layer on top of layer until, by the end of the year, you've got a really well-oiled machine. You're sleeping enough, you're drinking enough water, your macros and your calories are really dialed in for your goals. Goodness gracious, what is, turn that off? Can I turn this off? Okay, we're fine now. Oops. Anyway, but by the end of the year, you've got great sleep, you're walking, you're drinking enough water, your food quality is really high, and you're dialed in on your macros and your calories, and you have a coach, and you're working towards those goals. Your gym routine is really good. You move well. It's dialed in towards your goals, whether it's, being an endurance athlete, being a bodybuilder, being a powerlifter, being a cross athlete, whatever your jam is, you now have a exercise routine that's really dialed in. And now you're just hitting your stride. You're continually making progress towards your goals. You're a well-oiled machine. And that's only because you built base after base after base after base. And now you have a great foundation, and hitting really advanced regimens isn't a big change because you don't have to change any part of your daily lifestyle. That's how we're going to stay consistent. That's how we're going to reach our goals. That's how you're going to get to where you want to be at the end of 2022 by just taking small steps and taking small steps. James Clear from Atomic Habits, great book, by the way. You should definitely read it. His thing is start small, start simple, start easy, or start small and start easy, however you want to say it. So it's excuse me, it's small at bats, it's small habits. If something seems really big and unattainable to you, probably it is. So take it, cut it, and reduce it by 90%. Just start with 10% of that habit. Start 10% of that goal. Go until you master that, and then bump it up. Then until you master that, bump it up. Master that, bump it up. Do that with all these things, and eventually, I promise you, you will hit your goals. You will reach everything that you wanted to, and you'll look back at 2022 and be like, I crushed 2022. So take that into consideration. Take that approach with not only your health and nutritional fitness goals. Take that approach with all your goals. If it's a lofty goal, which our goals should be lofty, they should be high. We want to aim high and shoot high. But look at the strategy, look at the path, and break it down into small steps, and just conquer one step at a time, one step at a time, one step at a time. And that's how you're not going to fall off. That's how you're going to stay consistent. That's how you're going to look back at 2022 and be really proud of the work that you did. And that's how you're going to confidently say you are not one of the people that fell off of their New Year's resolutions within the first week, or the first 2 weeks, the first month, the first couple months. And that's what we want. So I hope this helped. As always, share this with a friend. Invite a friend to the Facebook group if you find these trainings helpful. Reach out with questions. all the good stuff. I'm always happy to answer questions and provide helpful tips, give more background on a topic that you want. If you have any questions answered, hit me up. You know the drill. Till next week, see you later.